we are here for another episode of the Ask Pastor Keith's podcast. And today's question is, Pastor Keith, what do you think about intersectionality?
Okay, I will give an answer. I think what Bible talks about intersectionality. First of all, to define intersectionality is social categorization such as gender and race, education and incarceration rate and things like that. And when those categories overlap, intersectionality is saying that creates more disadvantage for certain people, group, and so forth. And that's the idea. In fact, this idea is developed in conjunction with critical race theory. And critical race theory, I did it in another podcast. It's about having an isolated study on one social categorization factor, such as race, how it impacts people's lives and so forth. But our real life is not like that. It's not one factor that changes us or impacts our lives or molded in such a way that it cannot be changed. In fact, many things happen at the same time, and we cannot study people as a group. Individuals are different. We know that in our family experience. One sibling can do well and the other one is not well under the same situation. Things like that. So it is very exaggerated study, and it can be theory that we can talk about in the graduate school level, but in real life, that theory has been overlooked for decades until recently it surfaced, and because of political reasons, it came at the forefront. And offshoot such as intersectionality, which highlights even more there's a systematic oppression as a result of this, factors. So without going to my own opinion about that, I think biblically as a pastor, Bible doesn't recognize these factors as plastic factors in our life. Israelites as a whole was a slave for 400 years. Israel as a nation was never a strong independent nation. They are always a vassal nation to superpowers like Mesopotamia or Egypt, or even Hittite, or even Greek power, or the four generals of Alexander the Great and Roman Empire. It was never a standalone nation in that sense. But Bible never talks about them as disadvantaged people, even after exile. They see themselves as special and chosen, regardless of the factors. So in a way, they are not blaming outside factors, but they actually overcome those factors because of God. So as far as Christians are concerned, I don't know about sociology and the people who study in that area per se. But from the biblical viewpoint, worldview, we do not recognize that as such. In fact, God's favor overrides all those things. That's why people like Thomas Sowell, who's an African-American scholar of not only economics, but social trends and studies, he has exceedingly achieved before the civil rights movement or anything like that, sheer intellect and grit. And I think people like that are abundant around us. And I think that kind of disapprove things like that worldview that is because of a system, it's because of outside influence, that I am like a wooden block. I cannot behave otherwise or break through otherwise, but I'm stuck in the condition. I think that's very unhealthy view of life. And I think it's also very isolated from world history. Human history is filled with injustice. I'm not condoning injustice by any means, but at the same time, because of the sinfulness of humankind, we have all these factors that's not only unfavorable, but completely unjust. These things happen. And how do you overcome that? It is for us, is faith in Jesus Christ and the power of God who empowers us to override even unsurmountable challenges in our lives. So from biblical standpoint, is an antithesis to intersectionality. And that does not mean we do not empathize with people who are suffering from, social racism and things like that. But if we, single out those factors as the only reason that I am where I am, we are missing the point. I think history is full with examples, and our lives gives testimony, especially like United States. This is still land of opportunity. People all around the world wants to immigrate to here because it's a land of opportunity. And I don't think it's very healthy for us to look at the world through that lens. But I think the biblical lens of overcoming the obstacles and challenges in life through faith in Jesus Christ, I think much more healthier. And to us, that's a reality. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Wow. Thank you so much for this general overview. And I think it's really helpful to see how we can understand how to engage this topic from a biblical view and with the eye of faith. So thank you, Pastor Keith.
All right.
And we'll see you next time for another episode of the Ask Pastor Keith podcast.